Okay, so we're back to tutorial number 4, and today we're gonna be looking at functions. So what I want to do is we're gonna go over to workspace, click the plus, and we're gonna look for typing script. In our script, I'm gonna delete this. So what is a function? So a function is basically like a block of code which can be done without having to repeat it over and over and over and over again. So for example, let's just say you want, in our workspace, let's add a part. This part is going to be called my part. Back in the script, my part, local my part equals the game.workspace.myPart. So we have my part. Let's just say we want my part dot transparency equals to 1. After that, we want my part dot transparency to equal to 0. Then we want my part dot transparency to equal to 1. Then we got my, you see, it's gonna be like a long time, a list of code. So we can use is something called a function. Now whenever called, this function will be fired. So local function is your new function that we're gonna create. And then what do you want the function to be? I want this is gonna be to transparency setter. You can name whatever you want. One important thing about a function is to have these 2 brackets. Now later down we will tell you why we have to have these brackets, but I'm not focusing on this right now. I'm focusing on the content of the function. So ignore that. So we're gonna have transparency, my part dot transparency equals to 1. Now if you just run the game, what you will notice is that this part right here, it's not transparency, it's not set to 1. You can still see this completely. Reason being, we never called the function. Whenever you have a function, you have to make sure you call it. So what we have to do is call the function called transparency setter, and that's actually just it. Now if you run the game, you realize that the part is there because I'm standing on the part, but it's just invisible. If you look in the workspace, you can see that we have the part here, and I'm just standing on it. So functions can be used to change the properties of something. So basically, for now, let's focus on the properties. So let's scale up this part. So what I've just done is just make the part cover the whole entire lamp. So if we were to click play here, you realize that it's not anchored. Oh my days. What am I doing? It's not anchored, bro. So anchor is not right here because of the new UI. I kind of hate it, but it's perfectly fine. Now if we were to test, you realize that it's transparent. What if you don't want it to be transparent? What are some other properties of my part which you probably would want it to be? Remember when we were doing color? Let's just say you want to change the color of my part. So my part the color equals to color tree the from RGB 255, or there's a color wheel right here. I know you can't see it because of how my recording software is, but let's pick green. So green is 02550. And now when we play the game, you see that this part is just green. Then you may realize it took a long time to set in, but when you play the game, there's a big shadow and it looks dark. So if you want this to be like your sky, wait, let's just set it to blue instead. So you want this part to be your sky. You want to set the color to blue, but the shadow is just cast it down on the land. So what you can do in this function is have another one. My part dot cast shadow equals to, and remember this is a boolean, so it only takes true or false. If you type false, it's gonna cast a shadow. It's not gonna cast a shadow. If you type true, it is gonna cast a shadow. So we're gonna type in false because we want it to be false. Now if we hit play, I never changed the blue by the way, but now that we hit play, you realize that the shadow is not casting at all. It doesn't matter how long it's gonna take. You see, it just rendered in, and it just remembered that I told it not to cast shadow. So now let's just have some more functions. Local function shape maker. Remember these two parentheses, and then we're gonna do my part dot shape equals to, I remember there's many shapes like the corner wedge. I don't know how to spell this again. Remember, if you don't know to spell it, you always should just look back on it. This is spelled corner wedge like this. So now when we click play, not only is it just a normal thing. Oh, I never called the function. That's, if you don't call the function, just note it would never run at all. So that's why you need to call the function shape maker. Unable to assign property shape invalid value corner wedge for enum.shape. Okay, this is an error. It's saying that there's no shape called corner wedge. Maybe I spelled it wrong once again. Oh, will you look at that? This is an N and it should be an R. Guys, I need to take some spelling classes. One day I'll remember, okay? One day I'll remember. Okay, so now if we come out here, you see that it is indeed a corner wedge. And if you go into the server, okay, there's a server and the client. The client is just you. If you want to go in the servers, we can just click this. So now we're in the server, and you will see that this right here is indeed a corner wedge. So yeah, this is some of the things that you can use functions for, to change properties, and that's the main thing that you use functions for. So what I want you to do is create your own function. So local function, whatever your function you want it to be. Let's just say you want it to be reflectivity. What you're gonna do is type in your information right here, and you're gonna call the function reflectivity. That's all I want you to do. That's it. Goodbye.